Hey, welcome back. I just woke up. I slept for like fucking 9 hours straight. Yesterday I came off I think like 6 hour train ride from Paris to where I live, and I promised myself I'd keep making these. So here we go. Before we start, real quick disclaimer: these uploads are genuinely just for me. So I heard there's a lot of people like overanalyzing this, projecting a lot of their experiences with me onto these. Please don't do that for your and for my sake. Um, Um, this is just me ranting. Obviously, I might get stuff wrong, but that's kind of the point, right? I want to just put out who I am. The topic I want to cover today is drama, and that's because I noticed I'm not really fulfilled by drama anymore. Back in the day, I would fucking be so incredibly excited about seeing like the newest allegations, the newest stuff dropping, weekly. This would be like a cool thing. That's why I loved the commentary community, because there's always the craziest shit happening. It was just so exciting. But over time, I guess it was probably because I was involved in my own fair share of situations. I've grown really numb to the concept, now whenever I see somebody being exposed, I just feel kind of bad because I realize, this it really is nothing but toxicity, really. Obviously, if somebody's a predator, go ahead and expose them. It's just something I'm going to complain about. In most cases, it just feels like really petty high school beefs that people put out there because they don't have anything better to do, and they've kind of grown too close to Twitter. And I see this a lot, and I think it's very stupid, and I think it's very not good use of your time. I made a promise to myself that I wouldn't touch that thing with a 10-foot pole. And that's, I think, what we kind of get into the next segment. Because I actually got notes for this one, so I actually have a bit of structure with this show. You can thank me later. While I was in Paris, I had a bunch of people coming at me online. And this felt like a test from God. Because these were all not very... very well sourced allegations. This was all kind of bad faith, all kind of not true, and I won't name anybody by name because that's a promise I made myself. These all came from somebody who I'd really try to help, somebody I really consider myself to be in the corner in. And that was obviously very frustrating. So I sent them like a message. That stuff got reposted, but there was a lot of history. I think too difficult to make clear over Twitter. And I decided not to respond to anything, even though that whole thread was full of people who you could very easily dunk on. Very, very easily. If this was me from 2 years ago, I would have taken like 2 weeks, to make like a huge exposed video on everything, or like make a live stream or something. But I noticed, even if I did do that, I beat the charges. Nothing would really change. I'd still be in the same position. And if somebody genuinely wanted to know the truth about anything, they'd probably just ask me. And I had a couple people to ask, just asking me for, oh no, is this true or not? And obviously I told them what actually happened. And that was much better experience than feeling like the need to fight against people through a screen, which is always painful, because something I think you realize after a long time is nobody actually wants to change their mind. This is just so people can just kind of blow some steam, I think. I very rarely see people online like engaging in genuine like good faith discussion, which almost sounds like a joke at this point. But in most cases, people don't actually want to change their mind, and people can't. I think this is all just brainless shouting. That's why I always see people argue with other people on Twitter whom I follow, and I always think like what is this for? Because I think this is a quote from Jay-Z, like, oh, never argue with an idiot, which was going to be the title of this video, but I saw somebody else did that, and I didn't want to look like I ripped that off, okay? Never argue with an idiot, because from a distance, other people probably won't be able to tell who's who. And I think that's the most true statement that I think especially creators should really take to their heart. Because I was in a space where a lot of people would constantly argue with each other, would constantly get into drama or whatever. And I think at one point... you can't really differentiate between like the fucking lol cow and then the people who milk the lol cow. It just becomes kind of one and the same, because everybody's just surrounding themselves so much with this stuff. Especially if you know nothing about the situation, everybody's gonna become kind of an idiot. And I know you think you're the reasonable person going into this and just clearing up like the misconceptions. But the other person, best case scenario, thinks the same thing. Or B, they're just kind of trolling and not really taking things seriously, which obviously can be fun too. I mean, I'm not saying, messing with somebody for fun isn't a silly thing to do every now and then. I mean, especially with your friends, because it's just funny. When you think you're some like epic troller too, you just look as bad as your opponent. not everybody has the context of who you are. Not everybody has the context of your past, online or in person or whatever. So you just kind of look like an idiot. And I have a lot of people, especially because I myself had my hands in like doing stuff like that, and in the past, keep on trying to like troll me or like do bait tweets to fuck with me or whatever. And I think over time, I've become way too much of a narcissist to respond to this kind of stuff. What's gonna happen when I actually do get to these people, right? Like, these are not people worth engaging with. They're really not doing anything in life. They're not really going to go anywhere. Like none of these people are engaging in good faith. So what's the point in trying to respond? Like, changing the minds of a few ants? Like, even if you are successful, it's not really going to be beneficial. Like, I don't see any case in which arguing with somebody online is going to, like, benefit you anyhow. This drama cycle is self-perpetual, you know? And I've decided that I'm not gonna engage in it. I've decided I don't want any part. I am just gonna sit back and work on my own stuff. So if there's people already lying, misrepresenting me, genuinely, what's the point? I just want to make videos, and I want to leave this stuff behind, because that's not the person I want to be anymore. And there are some people who are like 20 or older still doing stuff like this. So many people I know who like engage in like high school tier drama all the time, and it just kind of makes me sad, because I feel like those people never really grow out of like a phase, you know, you have once in life when you're like really petty in high school or whatever. But these people are like old, okay? I know obviously 20 isn't super old, but to me, you know, as a young 18-year-old grasshopper, kind of feels like it is. And when I see somebody who's much older than me, at least who I feel like is a lot older than me, who's making the same mistakes I made when I was 16, it is really a nice sight, okay? The message I want to get across today is, don't ever engage in drama, okay? And even if, like, somebody is your favorite YouTuber or whatever, they're probably going to get stuff wrong. I've gotten stuff wrong before in dramas. I've said wrong stuff publicly. I think a big wake-up call for me was realizing that, you know, nobody really has the full picture. Nobody really has a full picture of what's actually happening. So it's really pointless in trying to achieve that. Obviously, there's different cases, like with grooming allegations. That's pretty serious. But if we're talking about like just somebody like trying to get your attention on Twitter, there's no point in responding. Most people probably aren't willing to see like a nuance in the situation. So they either don't want to do this in good faith, or are just too clouded in emotion, or just don't care, because nobody wants to change their mind. You're just wasting the time you have, especially as a creative, you know, because you want to achieve things in life. You want to be bigger than who you are right now. You want to leave a legacy on the world. And do you want that legacy to be the art you created, or do you want it to be drama?